I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together.
Hello, superwomen. Happy New Year. Missed you. I had a nice break. Loving the time off. Loving that I'm not feeling the panic going back to work like I would have in years past because my business, my clients, things are so much more aligned. In fact, yesterday I was dancing at a bar with my daughter and one of her friends. My toddler's a toddler. I will explain this story. Midday sober, dancing with toddlers, not caring who was watching. And I want to explain to you how I got there. I want to explain to you some of the tips for superwomen that you won't be reading, that people won't be telling you. And that's why we're missing the mark. That's why we are unfulfilled. That's why we have a pleasure problem. That's why 1 in 2 women suffers from sexual dysfunction. That's why antidepressant prescription rate is going up in women. So before I go back to my story, let's just take the temperature of women right now at this time of year, super women. So we've got our moms counting down the days until back to school, back to routine, sort of this like, whew, made it. Pleasure tank is a little emptier than before the holidays, if we're honest. And if you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, episode 117 of the Pleasure Principles podcast about the pleasure tank, check it out. Groundbreaking. The feedback has been amazing. So moms, there was so much more to do and plan to wrap other people's feelings and needs and desires to think about. And who was thinking about yours? We try and convince ourselves that the smiles of all of our loved ones made it all worth it. But if we are honest, our health suffered a little. Maybe we were a little resentful. Stress was up a little. Maybe you were full out crusty. Love watching the family fights when you go out in public over the holidays. It's like everybody's posing for pictures, all happy. And then, they were fighting a few minutes before. And that is life. There is no shame here. But how it is presented and what is the reality can be two very different things. So since we talked about moms, I want to give a little shout out to stepmoms. You have made it through the holidays. You're probably not as appreciated as you should have been. Probably tried to make yourself small and not take up too much space. Rock the boat. Sacrifice some of your needs for the sake of others. And yet you did so much for children that weren't yours. We need to appreciate you. Been a stepmom. Get it. Not easy. It's like it's like you do all the mom stuff without the mom perks. Anyways, we always talk about moms. So shout out to our stepmoms who did the extra things to make the holidays special. We've got our single super women with so much messaging this holiday season about nuclear families. Hell, even the ornaments speak to you. When you go into shops, it's like the mom and the dad and or maybe you're just single with no kids. And then we've got the Hallmark Netflix Christmas movie speaking to you about love. What I'm hearing from my single super women this time of year is there's kind of two camps of you. There's those of you that have the stories and the armor that keep you safe. A man won't want a woman like me. I'm too successful. I'm too much. Or the I'm good. I'm better than I've ever been. I've been really hurt in the past. Happy now. Don't want to fuck with it. Don't want to rock the boat. But if we're honest, none of us are fulfilled. Even those in relationships, those that did more than their partners this season. And this could be mom, no mom, wife, girlfriend, the extra planning, shopping, researching, decorating. Do we think Santa Claus was a woman? Or do we think that Mrs. Claus did all of the work and Santa swooped in at the end to get the credit? Not quite sure. But regardless of what type of superwoman you are, there is some resounding themes. We're all usually a little more exhausted, disappointed, unseen from the gifts that weren't given, the stockings of ours that was empty or we filled ourselves, literally picking out our gifts for others to buy, maybe, or just kind of feeling disappointed or unfulfilled about whatever state we are at. We have so much and so little pleasure, joy, connection to show for it. And I'm happy to report that that was not my holiday season. There were some big feelings, a lot of emotional processing that has gone on, but the peace that I felt, the joy that I had. And this is not because things are necessarily easy in my life, because sometimes that is a comment that women resisting doing this work will say, well, it must be easy for you. Actually, if you really knew what my life was like the last year, your jaw would hit the floor. It's gonna be it's gonna be a wild ride, 2024, as I'm unpacking all of that for you. So stay tuned. But if you do not want next Christmas to be a repeat of this Christmas, I have 4 spots left in the feminine mentorship. I paused enrollment for the last 2 weeks because I wanted to. It felt great to be present with family, friends, old friends, new friends. You know those old friends that you connect with over the holidays, been friends forever, and you see them like once, twice a year, and it's like no time has passed. Love those. Shout out to the old friends. If you desire to be present, to let it all go, to feel light, energetic, have people drawn to you, to feel full, full of, like, have your heart be full, pussy be full, feel abundant, healthy, joyful, feel joyful for no reason, have pleasure, full body orgasms soaked in pleasure, regardless. And this is not a when life is perfect. It's like a when you choose to be able to receive it, to let it all in. It is there for you already, but you're too busy overworking, numbing, waiting for the other shoe to drop, self-sabotaging it. All of the things that we do, superwomen, all of the things that I talk to you about, have had some huge discussions in the mentorship on self-sabotage lately. They've been very, very eye-opening and almost inevitable that when things start to go really, really well, we find a way to fuck it up because of our belief that it has to be hard. So, superwomen, alpha women with money, with so much to feel grateful for, but you are lacking in love, connection, fulfillment. There's something left to be desired in your sex, in your intimacy, with your health. The mentorship is for you. I have 4 spots left in the feminine mentorship, 12 months, 2 in-person retreats. And for those of you that have been listening and leaning in, I know what the objections are. Oh, I shouldn't push it. I should do this next year. I've got things are at a pretty stable place right now. Things are pretty good. I don't want to rock the boat. And if I open Pandora's box on all of this stuff, then I'm not going to know what to do. But the thing is that I know what to do. I've got you. The community of other superwomen has got you. This goes back to the belief that we can't have it all. And it's why this podcast is in the top 2.5% of relationship podcasts globally, because I talk about a problem that we don't know how to solve, and that our go-to tools in the toolkit take us further away from the goal, the desired outcome. The other thing that I hear is, what do I have to give up? What will the cost be? If I'm going to become like feminine and feel joy and in my pleasure, what is the cost going to be? What do I have to give up? I'll hear it on calls all the time. Like, I don't want to give up the business that I built and all my success. No, superwoman, that is the patriarchy in your mouth, in your head, in your bed. You get to have more with ease, more connection, better sex, better health, more wealth. And It starts with healing our relationship to our feminine. It's what you need. It's what those that love you need. And it's truly what the world needs now. The masculine has had its chance, and look where it's gotten us. If you have been listening and leaning in, time is now. Apply. Let's have a conversation. And if this isn't the program for you, I'm happy to discuss other ways that I can help. But I don't like so many of the women that joined this year, they're like, yeah, I wanted to do it last year. And I just waited. I told myself I'd do it next year. And I'm like, okay, well, how is your relationship? Worse. How is your health? Worse. More burnt out. Some of them are even at the point that they're saying, like, I'm so burnt out. Should I even take on a 12-month commitment? And, anyways, that's part of the reason why we have the application. You and I sit down and discuss is because I want to make sure that this is a fit for both of us. So, I know you can feel it, your intuition. She's guided you so far. And there's a reason why you're listening to this right now. So do not wait, scroll down, fill out the application. Let's connect, and I can let you know what your next steps are, even if it is not this program. This is a highly curated group of women that are ready to do this work and embark on a journey like this. Not everyone is ready. I wouldn't have been ready for a program like this. And I will let you know how to help. I will let you know what your next steps are based on your desires. So being feminine, being fully expressed, feeling free enough, safe enough, secure enough, trusting enough in yourself, in the universe to just be who you are, share how you're feeling in that moment, unedited. And I can hear you in your all or nothing thinking brain, your black and white thinking brain, trauma brain, because that is how mine used to work. There's something about sharing how you feel, your feelings, your emotion, when you are responsible for them and you're not making others responsible for them, like when you are your own container. We're not talking about vomiting things all over other people. We're talking about healthy feminine expression. It's not like, being angry and bitchy because it's coming from our fear and our wounding. It's like, ooh, like, I'm mad right now. That stung. I feel like, but we are owning our feelings. We're not making them anyone else's responsibility. Okay. So I'm with my daughter and her friend and her friend's mom and her friend's brother having a lovely day, great lunch. And to get toddlers to behave at a really nice restaurant, I take them for a lap. We go on a mystery adventure, go have a little dance party, and then come back to the table. It takes 2 minutes, and then everyone just compliments you on how well behaved your children are. But they didn't see the when we left to get them to go get the sillies out. Anyways, so found this little cove. It's right off of it's decorated like a old school cigar bar. It's very vibey, but they had Christmas music playing in this little area that no one was using and you couldn't see unless you walked by. So we were dancing in there and truly not caring who was watching. And people delighted in us. They delighted in me. They delighted in watching the girls watch me and do what I was doing. And I was following them. And it was just, we got one dirty look. Otherwise, everyone just was absolutely delighted. Pleasure begets pleasure. And I learned something about myself in that moment. And I realized how far I'd come to dance because I felt like dancing and not make myself small. And it felt really good. And it felt even better to show the girls that. So again, I say this all the time, but it's one of my favorite parts about my work is I'm not just affecting the woman that I work with, but I'm affecting her entire family system. I'm affecting the way she shows up in her career, for her kids, for her partner. It's got the ripple effect. So last year, New Year's, unseen. I felt unheard, unsupported. This year, peace and enough joy that it was flowing out of me to other people at this bar, at this restaurant. So my tips for superwomen, if they want better relationships, more connection, the first is honesty with yourself and others. And this needs to start with yourself. When I ask superwomen what they desire, they're usually blank, or they start giving me goals about next quarter, and everything's like very rigid and angular, and it just feels gross. It's like we're trying to get an A plus, like we were trained to do. Honesty about the bedroom. What do you like? What feels good? How do you want to be touched in that moment? How do you want to express yourself in that moment? A lot of us have sex with the same persona every time. Same person, same vibe shows up every time, even if that's not what we're feeling, but we're so good at stuffing it down. We're just like performing. We're putting on like our sex persona, like our mom persona or our wife. What really turns you on so that you don't need toys, so that you don't have short clitoral orgasms in the same positions, sex in the same order on the same day of the week? And again, I'm not knocking any of those things. It's just women should be alive with desire. They should have the higher drive. And you can check out my blog about this. You can check out episode 94 about this. But when things are in proper balance, women should have the higher drive. Check out those resources. Not going to reiterate here for the sake of time. So much growth and change can come from radical honesty. And superwomen, we struggle to do this. We struggle to do it for so many reasons. But be honest about one thing a day. Even if the person that you're saying it to is not going to like your reaction, one small thing a day. Try it. In a year, 12 months from now, it is going to be so freeing. So freeing. Number 2, presence. Everyone around you is craving your soft presence and attention. Men, children, colleagues, friends. And again, for my superwomen and our black and white thinking brains, we are not giving up ourselves. We're not giving up our power. I'm not asking you to be a way that you are not. If you do not have the love and connection and intimacy that you desire, there's a misalignment here. And a part of that is that our power comes from our yang, and we have burnt out our yin. Listen to the podcast series that I just did, episode 115, 116, 117. What every high achieving woman has never been told about intimacy and connection. If you want to know more about that, powerful source energy, love energy. It feels like a safe place. It feels like home. There is something about feminine love, yin, stillness, life force energy, the reason why we are all on this planet. We take for granted the miracle that is what our bodies are, what they're capable of. Feminine love. Most of us didn't have healthy feminine love. Our mothers were gaslit by the same system as us. And this feminine love, feminine presence is what we are all seeking, and it is what those around us are seeking. In fact, it's what the world is seeking, crying for desperately right now. So learning how to heal and harness your feminine power, your soft feminine power, so that you can give and receive healthy love, that is going to be a game changer in 2024. And the third thing, pleasure practice daily. 2 points of it involves movement. We're getting out of our heads and into our bodies. Dancing, go dance at a bar in the middle of the day sober and bring joy. Delight other people. Pleasure begets pleasure. But literally, any small thing that you can do to feel joy, feel more joy, I want you to do that. And I have some tips for the men. While I'm at it, might as well give you something too. My tip for you for better connection and intimacy in your relationship is lead. Truly take time to examine, where have you not been leading? Where have you let your partner, most likely your superwoman, where have you let her lead? Where have you taken your eyes off the road and she has been picking up the slack? And just by the sheer part of being in this culture, with the gaslighting, with the invisible workload, there is probably a fuck ton of places where you have abdicated your leadership to her because it is just easier, because she's good at it, because she gets it done more efficiently, etc. But that does not make your woman feel safe. That is not going to allow her to feel connected, at ease, and truly have the best sex of her life ever. So, super women, be honest about your desires. And if you are unfulfilled, you don't know what you want, you're missing something. If you are not craving sex, also probably missing something. And what is something that you can do to make yourself feel better every day? Bonus points if it gets you out of your head and into your body. So any type of movement practice, for example, breath work, anything. And men, where have you abdicated your leadership, and where do you need to start leading, especially without being asked? Love and appreciate you all. Please share this with a superwoman that needs to hear it. Cannot wait to do 2024 with you. Have a great week, everybody.
If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.